No matter what age you are right now, I'm sure you've had this thought in your mind before. I wish I could just quit my job right now, retire and just chill out and do whatever I want. Well, me too. And I even tried living out that dream 4 years ago, and to my surprise, I absolutely hated it. It turns out that retirement isn't as glamorous and amazing as what I always imagined it to be. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to crush your dreams of trying to retire early, but instead I'm just trying to share my personal experience so that you know what you're getting into. So let's get into the video. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the search for purpose. So what happened to me a couple years ago was that I was very burnt out from my first job and I decided to take my own mini retirement. If any of you guys have read this book, The 4-Hour Workweek, it talks about having mini retirements instead of one big retirement. And since all my peers have wanted to be, retire early and stuff like that, I thought that that was a perfect opportunity for me. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to give myself this semi-retirement. And what happened was that I absolutely hated it because at that time I spent the last 2 months or so and I did whatever I wanted. I gymmed, I exercised, I played video games, I went out with my girlfriend, I did absolutely what I wanted. But I realized one thing that was very, very striking, which was I had no purpose in life. It was very directionless, it was very unpurposeful in that sense, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do because every day when you wake up, it's like there's nothing to wake up for. Of course, right now you'll probably be like, oh, I wish I could just not wake up early in the morning to go to work or this commitment or that commitment, but now you have absolutely nothing to wake up to, you have absolutely nothing to look forward to, which means that life will become a lot less purposeful than before in that sense. I finally had nobody to tell me what to do, no KPIs, no patience or things to worry about, and I really thought that that was freedom in that sense. It was what I always wanted, but I was bored, I was tired, and it was overall an uneventful few months, and I could do whatever I wanted because I had so much time, so much mental space and energy, but I really did not know what to do. I didn't have anything in mind to do, and I think this realization really dawned on me, which was that you really need to find something that you can really bring purpose and meaning into your life. That would be something that I would want to continuously challenge myself and really get myself looking forward to in the future in that sense. Then it kind of makes sense because this structure that was always there from work, you would have KPIs, you would have goals to meet, you would have deadlines to meet. These are basically just mini goals that you set for yourself and you look forward to crushing them and you look forward to overcoming them. Whether you like it or not, you probably have to do it at your job, but going through all these things, these are the things that you can look forward to really continue your life with purpose. And of course that final purpose is probably to get money or to get your salary at the end of the day, but it helps to fulfill a grand purpose of you contributing to society, you making progress in what you're doing. I think that's very important to being a human being. Making progress and improving yourself, that's ultimately what we all want to do and ultimately what we want to strive for in order to have a purposeful life. That really transitioned very nicely to what I would call the second point, which was the retirement plan. So now that I knew that what I didn't want was pure retirement, which is to, what people usually think about, which is that they just want to quit and then they don't want to do anything after that. They're just going to kick back onto the beach, they're going to have a couple of tequilas all the time and they're just not going to have to do anything every single day. And I think if you do that, you'll probably just be very, very bored and you won't be able to do that for many, many days on end and you just have nothing to do and you'll be so bored with your life. Which means that it totally changed the ball game for me because now the retirement plan is totally to change into something to retire into rather than something to retire out of. So I realized that what happened with me was that I was actually finding an an escape plan to escape the job that I so desperately hated at that time, and I think deep down a lot of people are doing the same thing as well. I don't think a lot of people really want to retire because it is a life of no purpose and no meaning and you have nothing to do, and when you have all the time in the world to do things, you probably feel that it's not as fun or it's not as enjoyable to do them. And what I mean by that is that I used to think that I really like to play computer games and I used it as a way to procrastinate my studying, and because I didn't like to study, I felt like computer games were really fun to play, especially moments when right before you have to take exams, right before you have to prepare for things. But when I have all the time in the world, like the holidays or I have time off and then I start playing games, then I find that they're not fun anymore because I use them as a vehicle to have escapism. And when you don't like something, you really just find a way to escape from it. So it doesn't mean that the thing that you're escaping into is what you always wanted. So for me, like computer games, for most people like retirement, it may not be what they really want, but their judgment is so clouded because they are so desperate to leave the job that they don't like. So the main point is that you need to leave that job to go into into another job that you can possibly enjoy more, or start your own entrepreneurship journey, or whatever else you need to do. You just need to get out of that situation because that situation is not serving you, hence it's making you think of retirement. So don't stick to that situation for the rest of your life all the way until you hit retirement. Of course, some people might have commitments here and there. I'm not saying to just make a rash decision to just quit your job and then just jump into every other thing if you have your commitments, but you have to make a plan to get out of that situation, but more importantly to get into another situation where you are able to enjoy yourself and you'll be able to do your work passionately and to do it for a long period of time. I think that is really, really important. The pivotal moment for me is that retirement should not be an end goal, but should be a transition to a new beginning. Having something to retire into, it could be a hobby, it could be a part-time job, volunteer work, or even starting your own small business. That could be something to really look forward to retire into rather than to retire out of. And I think the plan now for me is to find something that I'm really, really passionate about to do so that I can be excited and wake up every morning. I think this is what Gary Vee talks about on redefining success. Success to him is waking up in the morning and being excited and enjoying your life and really not dreading the rest of the week. Instead of having money, having a lot of riches, having a lot of status and having all these things, but you have a hella miserable time just living your life. I think we have to redefine success. So to be perfectly honest, for myself, even though I'm turning 30 this year, I still don't know what I truly want to do. But I'm doing YouTube right now and all these side hustles, like what you guys are watching right now, these are my side hustles that I'm doing outside of my work. This is my way of tasting things and trying to find out what are these small little things in my life that I can really turn into maybe a business or really supplement my income or maybe perhaps give me a bit more financial freedom. But what are these things that I can basically build in the future or right now into something that I can be more excited, that I can wake up every single day excited to go forward with it. And the third point will be the financial puzzle. So whether you like it or not, when you want to quit or you want to retire, want to have financial freedom, you need money. That is something that you have to admit to yourself, and it's just a fact in that sense. When you retire like what I did, aka you quit your job, what you need to know is you're going to basically lose your main source of income, which can lead to a lot of different problems. So let me explain what kind of problems these are. Of course, what I did was back then was that to make things a bit easier for me is I saved up to 1 to 2 years of living expenses so that I wouldn't be stressed out and I could still live my life as normally as I could. However, being young, it's likely that the savings that you have are little or not enough to do many things with them. So in my case, I could still continue living, but I did not have enough money for holidays, for special occasions, or even to start a business if I wanted to, or any passions that I'm comfortable with without any stress, because these are things that would drain my resources and it would just shorten the amount of time of my mini retirement in that sense. So those are some problems that you could be encountering as well. You probably have money flow issues. For most people, their job is their main source of income, and if you lose that huge source of income every single month, your resources or your savings are just being drained upon whenever you eat, whenever you live, or your living expenses and every other thing like that. All those things are being drained and it just shortens your retirement lifespan. But not just that, but your mental energy and your stress levels will be high as well. So I think money is definitely super important in having a comfortable retirement, especially when you are young, because you want to do so many more things right now, but you are just limited by the amount of money that you have. Be it wanting to travel the world, start a business, or even fun experiences like scuba diving or skydiving. I think retiring young means that you will not have the luxury of doing all these things so freely. So these are some things that you have to consider as well, because you need to have other sources of income that can supplement your main job so that you can retire comfortably with a peace of mind. These are some of the things that I think you need to be able to consider before you really go into your retirement phase. So to sum everything up, you probably need this thing to retire into. You need something that can give you purpose, direction, and ways to really combat boredom, because you don't want to just retire into something that gets you as bored or even worse, more miserable than you were at your job. I really don't recommend retiring young and doing absolutely nothing, because I think it could just be the most boring thing that you ever did, just like what I did. But don't take my word for it. Everything in life requires trial and error, so you might just need to try it out for yourself in order to know that it actually sucks. But go for it. You may want to prove me wrong, and you might be right. Everyone is totally different. We all have our different opinions, and this is just my humble opinion. I don't want you guys to think about retirement as the end, but as an opportunity to really have reinvention and really have financial security as the enabling factor, which means you need money in order to do so. But to find something that you can be passionate to go into in that sense, and probably not do it when you're young. I don't think that's a very good idea. So if you enjoyed this video here, then you probably enjoyed this video here on how much money I made selling custom G-Shock watches. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next few videos. Bye bye!